All right, welcome to the Hoosier Crew podcast. I'm your host, Mike Sidoris. With me today is my co-host, Keith Robbins. Keith, how are you doing today?
Not too bad.
So, a lot going on this week. I mean, it's a short week, but we got a lot to break down, a lot to go through.
A lot of breaking news, a lot of other things happening.
Absolutely. Let's get a recap of Week 5, shall we?
Okay.
Monday Night Football, Ravens had a nail-biter against the Colts, winning that in overtime.
It was a great game. Actually, a great game. I watched it last night. I was like, wow, that's down to the wire. I mean, Lamar showed he could throw the ball.
The Colts had it won. I mean, honestly,
sure.
it was the Colts' game to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots squeaked by the Texans. Kind of makes me feel like the Patriots used all their mojo against the BUCS. I mean, I think they exhausted every effort they had against the BUCS and barely squeaked it out against a subpar Texans team.
That was our Super Bowl. That was our Super Bowl.
I mean, it had to been something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's crazy. The Bears, 20-9 over the Raiders. The Raiders just, I mean, they look, what's the word? Discombobulated. Mm-hmm. I really think the issues we'll be discussing later had a lot to do with it.
I was just about to say that for sure.
A lackluster performance.
Oh, yeah.
Chargers. What can you say about the San Diego Chargers?
Justin Herbert's the real deal.
They look like they're a team to be reckoned with. I mean, the Browns aren't a slouch team, and they went blow for blow. It was like a prize fight. Mm-hmm. 47-42.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at 89 total points.
We have a how about those Ravens in the already? How about them Ravens?
The Ravens look good.
Well, for sure.
Barely squeaked it out. They're probably the cream of the crop in the AFC North there. I mean,
Pittsburgh's not really promising, and
Bengals faltered. Cowboys 44-20 over the Giants.
They got an offense over there, man. They got an offense.
Their defense isn't a slouch either.
No.
I mean, what? That Cowboys win Week 1 looks better to me now. I mean,
more every week for sure.
I mean, Dak and Zeke got things humming down there.
Oh yeah. He said, "Making me money." Making me money.
Yeah. Met is a. I don't want to say professional gambler, but he's a gambler. Really good at picking the games. I might have him come on here in a couple weeks just to talk with us about it. A lot of money we made in the NFL, that's for sure. In Trey Lance's debut, he was 15-29, 192 yards and a TD, but still lost to the Cardinals 17-10.
Yeah, they went like 1-5 on the fourth down. But one time on the goal line. He was stopped on the goal line. I think they went 1 for 5 on fourth down. So they had a chance to definitely win the game, but
absolutely
couldn't pull it out.
What's up with the BUCS, Dog, and Gruden? People need to blank and grow some hairs. Well, you know what? We'll get into that later.
We'll definitely get into that later for sure.
We're gonna definitely burn that for a little bit. What's up, Christopher Cole? How you doing tonight?
How you doing, man?
Anyway, the whole Gruden thing, like I said, we're going to dive into that. We got a release from the Buccaneers themselves on the whole situation, so it's something we definitely can't ignore and we definitely got to address, so we definitely will get into that.
For sure.
But Cardinals look suspect against Trey Lance. I mean, he didn't wow anybody, 192 yards.
Wasn't Superman like he has been the last couple of weeks.
The defense of the Niners kept him in that game.
For sure.
I wonder if there's another team in the NFL whose defense could get healthy enough during the playoff run to really knock the Cardinals off.
I don't know. It starts with B and ends with S. I mean, Salatoyak.
Niners were just a few yards of yak from winning the game. Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
I really think that the Niners could surprise a lot of teams over there. They could. they could make it into the playoffs. It's not. It's not
the
a
NFC West division is it's so close.
You might see three teams from there making it.
Oh yeah.
Bills Chiefs.
That was disappointing. That was so disappointing to me.
Why?
I mean, just the Chiefs. Everybody has finally found out the Chiefs. It feels like they can't do what they were doing a couple years back, last 2-3 years. They just can't do it anymore. So, and of course, the BUCS is the team that proved everything wrong.
The BUCS laid out. The BUCS laid out the recipe to beat the Chiefs. I mean,
you go too high.
Everybody's using the formula.
Yep.
And it's unfortunately for Chiefs, it's working. You know, this week is the first time since the last Super Bowl that another team other than the Chiefs are the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Any guesses?
I think it's isn't it the BUCS or Bills? One of those two. Oh, BUCS. There you go.
Thinking it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in the greatest game ever to be played overseas, the Atlanta Falcons topped the juggernaut New York Football Jets.
Kyle Pitts got his first NFL touchdown.
Yay.
I mean, that was the highlight of the game. I mean, I watched a little bit of it that morning.
Kyle Pitts was supposed to walk on water. He was supposed to come into the NFL, and every linebacker and strong safety in the league was supposed to kiss his feet.
I know.
And he's done very, very little. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed with what I've seen from him.
Well, I believe that Kevin Ridley was out that game.
He was.
So they gave Kyle Pitts most of the targets for once.
Right. And it was against the Jets.
And it was against the Jets. You should not be that close to the Jets.
But anyway, we'll just ignore the Falcons. Packers 25.
That was a debacle at the end of the game.
Explain.
There was like 6 missed field goals between the last couple of minutes in the fourth quarter and overtime. There was like 5 or 6 straight missed field goals in the game. And then finally, Mason Crosby finally knocked one in overtime to win it. But there was one point where the Bengals kicker thought he made it, jumped into his offensive line's arm, looked over, and it was shaped too far to the left. I thought it was hilarious.
And we know kicking woes, being Bucs fans. I'll be the first to admit it. Robert Aguayo was a wasted pick. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying we have another wasted pick on this roster. Actually, I have.
We do.
But anyway, all right.
Every show we bring it up.
New Orleans Saints had a big day in the air from Jameis Winston.
4 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Yeah, knocking off the Washington football team 33-22.
Mm-hmm. Kamara had a big game, I believe. And then
yes.
Jameis threw Callaway a couple times. It was
that's a really good connection. I'm shocked at how well that connection is working.
Oh, it's great. Especially a deep ball, because he's and Traycon, I think it's Traycon Smith or one of the little small guys. Their deep connection's great. But then they keep what I keep seeing on Twitter and Facebook, they keep putting not Jason Tatum, that's basketball. What's his name? The gadget guy. Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I believe it was like last week or the week before that where Jameis threw a deep ball. It got called back for holding call. So they put Taysom Hill the next play to the same exact thing. He underthrows his receiver by a lot. Then they blamed it on him stubbing his toe in the ground. But there was people were posting videos of him doing the same thing all the time. Jameis' deep arm is very great, but
he's not killing them. I mean, really, he's keeping them in games, which is shocking to me. It's going to come. We all know, being Bucs fans, we know what they're going to see in Jameis. Mm-hmm. It's only a matter of time before he grabs the reins of that offense and actually does what Jameis does.
For sure.
I mean, he's killing it. Check the sheets. That's what he lives by. I mean, he don't care if you're winning or losing. He cares about his stats, and that's a downfall of Jameis Winston.
It definitely is.
Anyway, Steelers upset Teddy Two Gloves.
I was shocked.
27-19.
I was shocked. I definitely had Denver winning that game, but
did you hear that score?
27-19.
You know, odd it is to get 19 points in the net.
Very odd. It's a lot of field goals. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of field goals.
Well, it's at least, what is it? 1 touchdown and
that's like 4 or 5 field goals.
4 field goals.
Yeah,
1 touchdown, 1 extra point. It's crazy. It's unheard of.
It's wild.
Eagles. The next week's opponent, 2 days away. Can't believe it's already coming up to game day. The Philadelphia Eagles trounced, not really, the Carolina Panthers. But anytime the Panthers lose, we win. I mean, that's how you got to look at it. Anytime an NFC South team takes a fall, you got to love that.
With that loss, we actually got now we're in place for sole possession.
Yeah, we are. We were in sole possession anyway because we had the tiebreaker with the Saints. We had the tiebreaker because there was a common opponent. I can't even talk. We had a common opponent. It wasn't the Saints. Who was it? Cowboys, maybe. I don't remember.
Maybe.
We had a common opponent, but anyway. And then finally we get to the BUCS, big game fishing in Miami, or actually in Tampa against Miami.
Fish fry.
Wow. The offense exploded finally.
It finally came. Finally this year.
558 yards of total offense. That was more offense than the Raiders and Bears combined.
Together. That's crazy.
437 passing yards. Here's a key stat. 121 yards on the ground. If the BUCS run the ball enough to get 100 yards, they're a hard team to beat.
Well, for sure.
You control the clock, and you're forcing the team to go blow for blow with one of the best offenses ever assembled in the NFL.
There was at least 2 or 3 drives, or maybe even 4, where they were 6-7 minutes long. I mean, that's how you win games in the NFL.
Absolutely.
You keep regardless of who you're against. You just go against one. You just take that offense off the field. You can win games.
Anyway, BUCS average 7.9 average. That's 7.9 average yards per play. That means the BUCS are averaging over half a first down every time they snap the ball.
You can't beat that.
That's a hard offense to beat.
You can't beat that.
And if your defense wins the turnover battle, game over. I mean, there was only 2 turnovers that entire game, and the BUCS snagged both of them.
That's how you win games 2-0 turnover battle. I mean, that's you win games. It's just simple. You win games.
Well, let's kick it to you, Keith. Let's hear your thoughts on the game. I posted the chat link in the comments. If anybody wants to jump on, they're welcome to jump on and discuss this game with us. But BUCS Miami, the floor is yours.
All right. It was kind of frustrating at the beginning of the game, of course. Again, every week we say this. The Cowboys have showed the blueprint of beating us with the screen game. Not so much the running game, but the screen game. Myles Gaskin had 10 receptions for like 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. No one thought Gaskin was going to be a problem in the game.
Wait, stop. Oh. I recall last show we had this host come on and say Myles Gaskin is going to start. And I had 1, 2, 3 people tell me I was crazy, that he wasn't the starter. And I opened up the game. I turned it on my TV. The Miami Dolphins have the ball, and who's in the backfield?
Myles Gaskin.
It's almost like I knew he was going to start.
Anyway, he had 2 touchdown passes or 2 touchdown catches. The game was pretty close at the beginning. I believe it was 17-10 at halftime. So the BUCS, the defense is still, I don't know. It's so frustrating, but you may know, Mike, because you played football and defense. How do you stop the screen passes? Do you know? Because apparently the BUCS don't know how to stop.
Honestly, the screen pass is designed, 1, to slow the pass rush. Okay. You're going to suck them in so they're over pursuing, and you're just going to dump the ball out. The easiest way to stop the screen pass is to not fall for the suck. When you feel yourself getting sucked past the initial line of scrimmage fairly easily, you've got to slow your rush down. You've got to have a controlled rush. By now, the linebackers and strong safety should know, hey, third and long, second and long, they're going to go screen. They're going to run a quick pass. They're going to run a slant. They're going to run a wheel. Something's coming that's going to be quick and out of the quarterback's hands. When you run a screen, your quarterback's dropping back, right? So he's clearing a space.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving himself distance between the line of scrimmage, defense, and himself. So by backpedaling, he's pulling the defense closer, which is opening up the alley for the screen. The only way to really stop the screen is to flatten out and flatten your rush. But like I said, when I coached, you got to know your feel for the game. You got to know where you are at all times. Mm-hmm. The screen pass doesn't work in the goal line very well because there's not much room between A and B. The screen pass is going to work in the open field when you're looking at 3rd and 12, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 7.
He did a lot on Sunday. He did a lot of that, a lot of open field running, and
everyone does that.
10, 15 yards a catch. I mean,
but that's the weakness of the BUCS defense. I mean, this is factual right here. This information right here is factual.
The fact that screens and short passes, the kryptonite for the BUCS, is not good. That is corrected with fundamentals. Shouldn't be a contending issue. Shouldn't be, but we're sitting here week 6 and it's still an issue.
But answer this: when was the last time the BUCS had all their starters on defense?
For half a quarter.
When was the last time the BUCS played the same 11 players on defense?
In the first quarter of the first game.
That was it. The first quarter of the first game was the last time all 11 starters of the all 22 they kept. But anyway, that's the last time. And you cannot you can't stop a screen. You can't stop the quick pass without good communication and good fundamentals.
Until that's what lacking right now on defense, because there really is no presence. Like, who's the presence on defense?
Until that happens, you're not going to see the BUCS stop the screen.
So this is going to happen. I mean, you just got to deal with it and just bend, don't break, and just let it happen. And just hopefully they don't score on it.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think you have to deal with it. Unfortunately, the BUCS are going to deal with it because they're just not fundamentally poor. They're just not.
They're just not together.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. They're not working as a group right now. They're working as individuals. And you can tell they're working as individuals because the communication is lacking. You watch Richard Sherman play. He's doing the minor things. He's not excelling anywhere.
Right.
But he's only been here, 8 days now, 9 days?
If that.
So he's not getting beat deep, so he's doing what is asked of him. But he's not responsible for the screen. He can't come up off his guy to cover the screen.
What is it, DNs and linebackers? Is that who's responsible for the screens?
Well, honestly, it depends. I mean, if the BUCS are in a nickel package, your strong safety and your edge have to flatten out. Because most of the screens that beat us are into the boundaries. They're more times than not, the screen to the halfback is going to go to the wide side of the field. You very seldom will see a screen into the shallow side.
It makes sense. There's more space, for
there's more open field.
Right,
so you'd slide a safety over, but once again, we don't have our starting safeties. We have a starting safety and Mike Edwards, who plays everywhere on the defense. I mean, he's everywhere in the defensive backfield.
Right.
He had a decent game. I'm not going to go too much into that, but yeah, the screen pass is just our Achilles heel, and so is the wheel, and so is anything where you're expecting someone to pick up the halfback sprinting out of the backfield for some reason. Our linebackers. I mean, Devin White was so good at that in the playoffs, and he's just not done anything so far this year.
I haven't heard his name.
I mean, it's going to come a time where he's going to have a come to Jesus moment and get out there and cover it. It's just they're going to have to say, you're manned up on so and so, where he goes, you go. Until they shut it down, you might see them go like a linebacker spy or a linebacker robber. They used to run the linebacker spy all the time against Michael Vick.
Right.
So you could do the same thing with a halfback.
Like, your one job is Michael Vick. That's it.
Right.
You stay on Michael Vick the whole play.
And that's what spying means, is you're just shadowing wherever he goes. So
right.
I mean, you might see that come to that. This week's going to be tricky. BUCS are without Levante David.
Yeah.
he's honestly the heart and soul of that defense, in my opinion. He's a leader. He's putting everyone in the position that needs to be put in. So Devin's going to have to step up, but now you're faced with the dilemma. Do you put Kevin Minter in there, who's good against
he played the rest of the game on Sunday? So, but again, I mean, I didn't see much of him. So,
he's good against the run, not great against the pass. Do you go tricky here and you put Joe Tryon back there? You put Tryon back in the middle and see what he can do.
The Tryon has been going back into coverage and stuff.
Well, he's a 3-4 linebacker, so he's got, especially when they go zone, he's got the flat zone.
And he has the speed to play linebacker too, to go against sideline. So,
but
anyways, against Shaq Barrett, huge game. Huge for first time this year. That a couple of times he's had a couple sacks. He's had like a pick. This game he had a strip sack. I believe he sacked him twice. Brissett twice. I saw in his press conference yesterday or today, he said he does not want to be called Sack Barrett until he gets 3 sacks again in the game. So you can't call him Sack Barrett at this point. So he said until he gets 3 again, he doesn't want to be called Sack Barrett until that happens.
Right. He should have had 5.
Oh, he was.
The issue is that we're not finished, or they're not finishing. Like, once again, not playing. Fat ass microphone right here.
Hey, it's always me. You know how it is.
But
there was missed tackles in the backfield. It's just missed tackles in general.
There issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
We discussed these issues week 1 or preseason game week 1. Well, what did I tell you the Bucs' main issue was in the preseason?
Missed tackles.
Okay, against the Dallas Cowboys, what did I tell you the Bucs' main issue was?
Missed tackles.
Against the Atlanta Falcons.
It's every week. We could have had like almost 10 sacks that game. It seemed like they were in the backfield. One time I got pissed off. There was one play where they had him at his ankles and he still completed the pass. I'm like, just get him down. It's crazy.
I'm really thinking that after the game, they have a tub station. In college, I know you never really played, but in college you have what's called the tub line. And it's just horse troughs, full ice and water.
Okay, I've heard.
Everyone goes and sits in them and cools down, relaxes their joints, takes the swelling away. It actually prolongs your career if you want to really get into it. But I really think that the Bucs defensive tub line is full of guys sitting with their elbows and forearms in the tubs of ice because all they're doing is arm tackling.
Exactly. It's crazy.
I mean, it's awful.
Brissett was on one leg, and it seemed like they still couldn't take him down.
When was the last big hit you saw come from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
The last big hit, Joe Tryon, maybe, with that Mac Jones hit.
And that was 2 weeks ago now?
2 weeks ago. There was not one big hit that I seen.
There's not an exclamation point hit that you can point to and be like, okay, they're getting back at it.
All I see is a missed tackle that someone cleans it up. That's what I see every play.
And we got a troll here.
Number 2.
You know my thoughts on that. All right. Any further thoughts on this whole?
Fournette had a huge game. We finally got the running game going.
You know, he had a really big.
The last 2 weeks we've got the running game going. Really, I mean,
he had a really good game hitting the hole. He wasn't dancing too much in the backfield. You didn't see him stuttering. He just shot through the line. If there was a hole there, if there wasn't a hole there, he'd go where the play is designed and then just spin out of it, or, you know.
Yeah, like the first couple of games, he was like running back into his players and trying to find a hole, but he was just running full speed, just hitting the hole, using his speed, using his strength and his body, because his body is big. I mean, he has a huge body. I mean, no homo or anything like that, but he has big thighs. He's just big body, you know. He is flying through the hole every single time.
All right. But honestly, Gio Bernard had a silent game. He played really well. It was great to have him back.
2 catches.
He did give up a sack, but really, I mean, it wasn't from lack of effort. I mean, he got bulldozed.
Gio's not that big of a back, so
he's not big, but he put his body in the way. That Brady needs to step up or step out. 8 yards, right? 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage is where your quarterback wants to stay. He wants to stay in that 8-yard area.
You want to cone all the way around
so that you can, sweep them in or sweep them out. Well, we do have a guest coming on.
There we go.
I don't know if you're ready for this. If you're ready, give me a thumbs up in the back. I don't know if he's ready. I'm going to pull him on anyway. If he's not ready, he can hate me later.
Here we go.
Ricky Reynolds, how are you doing, sir? Are you muted? Can you hear us?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
So glad to have you on. We can hear you well.
Perfect.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm having a little trouble hearing you guys here.
Uh-oh.
You want us to drop you out and have you try to reconnect?
We can try that.
Okay, that was a little better there.
Okay. Well, since we have you here, we were talking BUCS fans, and I know you weren't able to watch the game. You had family obligations, but I just want your thoughts on this BUCS secondary. Really, what do you think the issue is other than injury? I mean, is it a scheme issue?
Is it lack of confidence? I mean, what is it? I mean, what's the problem?
Well, I think you have a combination of some things. I think it's some lack of confidence in some of the guys. Some of these young guys play a little soft. I think we're doing a lot more zone coverage because of the issues of giving up big plays.
Absolutely.
And you're figuring that these guys are probably playing a little softer. That's why they give up so many short to intermediate type passes, because they don't want to give up the big play. So they're, allowing, shorter passes to happen in front of them. Now, last year during the playoff run, they were still having some difficulties, going in, and then they really kind of put it together. And I believe they kind of changed up coverages a little bit, and they ran a little more 2-man than they did zone. And with that, now you were playing Drew Brees and some of the quarterbacks that weren't runners. And by playing 2-man, that allows you to play aggressively. And the corners are able to really plaster and be all over top of the receivers because they have 2 safeties deep over the top.
Right.
And so they can play aggressive man-to-man. And they did that during the playoff run. Now, the Washington game, when they had a little trouble, they were more zone, more, man-to-man type stuff.
Well,
and so now these guys are, of course, they're battling injuries. And now you have some new players. Richard Sherman's in. I like Richard. Richard's a smart guy, very intelligent. He's going to play similar. He's not going to give up, the big plays because, he knows his speed. He's a lot slower than what he used to be. Right. And I know because I've been there before. But so you play smart. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to give up the deep one, but then I know to be able to, come down on the shorter passes and be able to challenge them. So these guys have to be they're going to tap into Richard. Richard's going to help them guys out a lot. And that's going to be the huge asset of him. And he's going to be able to help teach these guys to be able to not give up the big one, but also be able to come downhill and play a little bit more aggressively on the receivers than what they have been doing. And they've just been a little bit too soft during the course of this year, especially.
Well, we have a comment. Salatoyak thinks the BUCS need to play a little more cover 2-man or even cover 1, allowing DBs to take more risk knowing there's help over the top. That's basically what you just said. But I really feel with Sherman, I don't think he's got the legs to play man coverage right now. Playing in the Florida Heat, I mean, he's got to be cramping. He's got to be exhausted. He was on a couch 9 days ago. So, I mean, there's different. I mean, you played the game professionally. I mean, there's definitely a difference between sitting on your couch playing Madden, running a couple miles every day, trying to stay in shape, and getting on the field, 10 pounds of equipment on, Florida heat, trying to play every day. I mean, it's got to be fatiguing for Sherman.
Yeah, it's definitely rough on him because he's not in game shape or football season shape.
Right.
Just because and that takes time as far as just playing out there, repetition, and getting into that groove of playing for that amount of time in this sort of heat during the course of the game, and it's brutal. And it does wear on your legs, and that's what he's going through. So now two man will be fine for him because you do have safety help over the top. So that helps you to be more aggressive and not to have to worry about the deep ones. Man to man, and that's a big risk. That's why I think we backed off of blitzing as much, is because when you do man and you're blitzing and things like that nature or playing zero coverage, you have great chances of giving up big plays.
Right.
And that's what we don't want to give up easy scores. This team wants their opponents to have to go down the field 15 play drives, and during that 15 play drive, more than likely they're going to make a mistake. We got to be able to get off the field on third down situation. That's another thing. Our pass defense has been very bad in third downs.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have not done well on third downs. So that's why we've been having sustained drives going down the field because you guys aren't getting off the field, and so they have to be able to make plays in those situations.
So second and long, third and long, what were you coached to watch for? I mean, as a defensive back, there it's second and long, third and long. You've got certain plays you can run out of certain positions of the field. I know your route tree for down and distance that. I was always taught second and 7, third and long. You're watching for the screen. You're watching for the wheel. You're watching for the deep post. Something that's going to cause the defense to back up and loosen up that under. I mean, do you agree with that or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, second and long and third and long are two totally different situations. Now, when it's second and long, usually your opponent wants to make it third and short. So they're not necessarily going for the first down in second and long situations. They'll run the ball, screen draw, or short pass. Get enough of it to where now it's third and short situation.
Right. When
it's third and long, now usually you're trying to get the first down. If it's third and 10, third and 15, just depending on how long it is. If it's real long, that's more likely screen draw. Don't get in any trouble. Let's punt the ball away. Or if it's third and 10, all right, we're going to try to get it, and usually they're going at the sticks. And that's one thing that the guys need to know is they're going for the first down. So you have to know where the sticks are and be able to settle down right where the marker is and be able to make those plays there. Because more than likely, that's all they want is get that first down and keep moving. Mm-hmm. They're not looking to score a big play, big touchdown. Every now and then they'll take a shot, but you want to defend the sticks and be able to make plays there.
All right. I know Peter got some questions for you about your playing days, so I'm going to just sit back and let him ask you some questions. He's kind of a young BUCS fan, so he didn't get the experience watching you play as much. He's seen some highlights, but
that's honestly. But what was Coach Perkins' coaching style back when you played?
His coaching style, he was rough. He was rough. He was one of those old school guys, and one of those guys that get in your face and try to intimidate you and try to strong arm you sort of thing. We would practice hard. We had really grueling practices. Very physical, a lot of hitting. On the field for long periods of time, but we really went at it when we practiced here. And many times we were in mid-season form at the start of the season, and coming out of training camp because we were in great shape. doing 3-day practices and things of that nature.
Nowadays.
Yeah. So, but the only problem is your body would break down, after so long because your body is worn out, and even during the season, our practices were tough, and you figure you would back off a little bit and work on some things, but they were tough. I used to come home and ice my feet every night. So it was a grind playing for Ray Perkins. It was a grind.
We have a question from one of our guests. He said, "Who was your favorite opponent to play back then?"
Who was my favorite what?
Favorite opponent to play.
Favorite opponent. Oh, wow. That's a good question. Probably the San Francisco 49ers. Believe it or not, even though, they had the best, players, back in those days, they weren't in all the Super Bowls, but I was from Sacramento, California. I knew my family was watching whenever I played them, and I happened to always have a great game when I played 49ers. I knew they were watching, so I had to put on a show.
For sure. What was your most memorable play on your whole career?
Oh boy, most memorable play. Oh wow, that's a good one. Oh wow. I've had a few. I've blocked some kicks. Mm-hmm. Block punt was a memorable one. Block punt, scoop it up, run it back for a touchdown. One of the other ones was at my 68-yard interception return for a touchdown. That was a lot of fun. That was right here in Tampa against Detroit. Picked it off. I believe I was wearing black shoes on that day. I took it to the house, and Chris Berman was doing the highlights. Ricky Reynolds with the black shoes going down, 68 yards, touchdown. Lots of fun.
Who was your most feared receiver to line up against?
I didn't fear any of them.
There you go. Perfect answer.
No, I'm serious though. I didn't really have any fear. I mean, I played Jerry Rice, and they would put me on the best receiver. So I had no problem. They started doing that at a certain point in my career, and I started following. I actually did it in college as well, but I would follow that at best receiver, and it was no fear. It was a challenge for me, especially that hey, Rick, you gonna play. And he would announce it in the team meeting in front of everybody. Ricky, we're gonna put you on Jerry Rice. We're gonna put you on, Sterling Sharp or Chris Carter or whoever it was, and got them all over the field. Yeah,
that was the greatest though back then. Watching you play in the NFC North or NFC Central.
Yes,
I'm from Chicago area, so I got to see my Bucks. But
there you go.
Streaming and all that, so it was great to see you play at Soldiers Field. The next question is coming. It's actually coming from everybody. I just want your thoughts on this. John Gruden. 8 years of emails, kind of came back to bite him. Mm-hmm. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for not changing history or anything like that, but they took his name from the Ring of Honor today. He will no longer be featured in the Ring of Honor. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you don't have to go into too much detail if you don't want to. I just want to know what your thoughts are on the whole John Gruden situation. Well,
it's definitely shocking, I think, for everybody. Number one is that to find this out about a great coach that has had great players of all different nationalities, playing for him. Now he actually has a first openly gay player that was on this team there in with the Raiders as well. And so it's shocking that he didn't have any sensitivity to what he was saying and what he was spouting off. And like you said, this went on for a while.
Right.
So I mean, he was venting this for a number of years.
Probably longer than that.
What's that?
it's probably been going on longer than that. But
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we're just now finding out about it, and so what makes it tough, and I think he is deserving of being excused from his head coaching position because obviously his heart hasn't changed. Not that quickly. Now that this has happened, now he probably can go ahead and maybe get some counseling or some treatment, try to figure out what's causing all this to come out of him.
Right.
And so he has to do something to kind of change the image and what he has put out there. It's not a good look, and it's making his name really bad. And he's kind of ruined himself here. Tampa Bay area where he has called his home, and now across the country, everybody knows what John Gruden has been all about here, and hopefully he can do some things in the community to maybe help and make a difference and shed some light on some of these things that he's put out there, and maybe he can turn it around and be a difference maker, and that's what he needs to do.
There are worse things said on the football field. I mean, you know that from playing. There is many worse things said in between the lines. The problem is those things being said stay in between the lines. You don't hear that going out in the locker room. You don't hear that, heading elsewhere. And if you do, that player doesn't stay long. He doesn't stay around for long.
Yeah.
Gruden, unfortunately, I mean, yes, he made the comments. Yet, yes, he obviously isn't the person he portrayed himself on Monday Night Football.
Mm-mm.
Do I think he's a terrible person? I don't know him personally, so I can't say that. I do know that he lost that locker room regardless. You're not going to go into a locker room dominated by black males. And one of your key players
On defense.
is an out homosexual player in the NFL.
The first active gay player.
And that's a brethren. I mean, that's a family. You're not going to step into that family and have those comments still weighing over your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He lost the locker room as soon as it came out.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's for him to, and I don't even know what the email said or anything, but I know, like you said, going into that room, listening to him in a team meeting, after that was done would be tough, because now you're wondering, what does he really think about me? Especially if you're a guy that he gets on all the time,
Right.
I mean, is he thinking I'm not very smart? Is he thinking, what does he think about me? Because I am African American, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And it's, same thing goes, for, some of the other players around there, just, I mean,
it doesn't sit right.
Right. And if is what he is saying to me, in earnest, is it, a real general comment, is he being earnest with what he says, or is he just kind of covering himself but saying something else behind the doors,
Right. Backpedal.
You don't know,
Right.
So you have to question it.
So is there anything you could see him doing to make the situation better, or is it just something that's just going to tarnish him forever?
Well, yeah, I mean, he can definitely make things better. I mean, like I said, he has to get out in the community and make the wrong that he's caused and turn it into right, and go out and maybe fight for social justice and things of that nature. I mean, the NFL is in it,
Mm-hmm.
They're deep in it, they're running commercials, they're doing things with the HBCUs, all that sort of stuff. Maybe go coaches at a HBCU or something if they would have them.
There we go.
I mean, you got to go, educate yourself, get out in the community, serve, help people, get some counseling, try to figure out what's going on with you, that it's causing this to come out.
There's some hatred somewhere deep down inside. There's somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's something in there that's, that he got to get out.
Mhm.
Right on. So I appreciate you giving us your thoughts on that. I don't want to keep you too long. I don't know how long you can stay.
We're okay. We talking football.
Right on.
Perfect.
Well, we're going to go into the Eagles game. Would you like to stay around and give us your thoughts on?
Sure. We can talk. We can talk a little Eagles.
All right. We do this thing. We call it Who Gets the Nod. What we're going to do is we're going to compare positions. It usually goes Brady gets the nod at quarterback. We usually just put that one out, but we just go through the positions and see where we think the advantage lies. You good with that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Quarterback again, Tom Brady. Not going against, but we're going to compare him to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts leads the Eagles with 1,365 yards passing, but he's also their rushing leader at 256 yards. Who do you think gets the out there? You got to give it to Brady. I mean, seriously, Brady.
Well, it's definitely a no-brainer on that one. We'll give it to Brady because he's Brady.
It was Brady, man.
Right. What's scary is when we go to the running back room, you got Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell for the Eagles, and for the BUCS, you got Leonard Fournette. Pretty much non-existent Ronald Jones. Gio Bernard had a big impact last week. But Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell neither have more than 256 yards rushing. That really doesn't put fear much in anything. Lenny looked good last week. I'm going to give the nod to the BUCS.
Then with our defensive line, they're not going to be running the ball much anyway. So they're going to be passing the ball 50, 60 times like every team has been this year. So you definitely have the BUCS room.
And I agree with you because Leonard Fournette is playing good. They're just not running him enough. I think they're not sticking with the running game. So I definitely give it to the BUCS. Nobody's going to run on that defense. They're not going to run. I don't care who you put up there. These guys, that run defense is tough. So they're going to have to throw the ball.
You're not going to see many attempts against this BUCS defense.
No.
Before they even get on the field, they've already made the opposition one-dimensional.
Yes, they have.
Just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's going to lead us to the wide receiving room. Devontae Smith leads the Eagles with 314 receiving yards. Then you got Jalen Reagor and Quez Watkins. And we all know the BUCS receivers. You got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown.
Right.
Tyler Johnson's playing.
Tyler Johnson was great.
On
Sunday.
Yeah. I hate doing this every week because I feel like such a homer.
It does.
When you go through the offensive positions, it always ends up going advantage BUCS. But again, I got to lean advantage BUCS here.
Yeah, for sure. BUCS are loaded. They're loaded. Possibly can have 3 receivers over 1,000 yards.
Absolutely.
They're on pace for it. It's definitely a possibility. So I don't think anybody in the National Football League is close to these guys in that room. And you can go to the tight end and do the same thing.
Well, you can and you can't.
Yeah.
We got Rob Gronkowski, who's questionable.
Yeah.
More than likely out is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
OJ Howard, who's been on the back of a milk carton for 6 weeks or 5 weeks of the season. And you got Cameron Braid, who gets spot duty, who never seems to drop a pass if it hits him in the hands, but he doesn't play much. And you're going against Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. Both are pretty damn good tight ends. Both can block. Both are good out in the edge trying to catch your outs. They're definitely good over the middle with your drag skinny post. Zach Ertz isn't the deep threat he used to be, but he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
So, without Gronk, I might actually lean towards the Eagles. Gronk plays, it's going to change my stance on it. But my opinion, all-around tight end, you got to go Eagles here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Eagles would be the choice to go. You have 2 solid tight ends, very consistent, and I believe they're pretty healthy. So, if you have Gronk, I would go the other way. But no, with Gronk being out, go Eagles.
Yeah, Goddard's listed questionable. He's got an undisclosed illness at the present time.
Okay.
They have to disclose that illness by tomorrow. So
okay,
we know more by tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't usually go the full offensive line, individual offensive line position. We usually go full offensive line. against offensive line. Because every week I got to say this: if you're putting left tackle against left tackle, I'm never going to pick Donovan Smith. I mean, the guy has cement feet. Honestly,
Yeah.
I've never seen.
I've seen where his PFF score has actually been pretty high every week.
It's high, but that's because Brady's decision making is so quick. If you look, there's someone around Brady every single drop back. 9 times out of 10, it's Donovan Smith waving past the guy as he comes around the edge. He's got cement shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, his footwork, I don't know how someone can go to a big school like Penn State and have such poor footwork. He's obviously a better athlete than I am, but I mean, I don't get it.
Well, you gotta figure a big program like that. You know, they had Saquon Barkley back there. He running the football.
Exactly.
You got to throw it too often. Give it to this guy back here.
And maybe he should send him a thank you letter saying thanks for getting me to the NFL, because I know he needs to be at Rob Gronkowski's bedside doing the Mr. Miyagi hands thing on Gronk just so he doesn't get blown off the ball every play.
Right.
That's just me.
Agree.
So the Eagles' offensive line is pretty beat up. Mailata's questionable. Landon Dixon's a rookie. Jason Kelsey is questionable. Nate Herberg is the only one that's listed as playing 100%. Johnson is listed as out personal. Now, we don't know what that is just yet. Once again, that will be disclosed Wednesday. So,
again, I haven't heard, besides Kelsey, I have not heard any of those offensive linemen, just to be honest.
I don't know who said this, but it made me laugh, so I had to put it up there. They love my beard. Gotta agree with them. But okay, Ryan Jensen is questionable this week. I don't know if you guys know that. He's got a hip flexor issue.
I believe so.
He didn't finish the game Sunday. He was taken out. I thought they were taking him out just to get other players reps, but apparently it was an injury issue. Everyone else seems to be healthy. Alex Kappa didn't have a great game last week, but overall he's a sound lineman. Hopefully the BUCS address that further in the future, but he's definitely will be starting on 31 other teams, in my opinion. I'm going to give the advantage to the BUCS line here, just based on the fact that everyone in Philly is questionable or out except for the 2 young guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like I said, we're pretty healthy and been pretty steady. They've been pretty steady, you know, except for your buddy there, Donovan Smith. And I guess he is being steady with his feet. But the BUCS definitely probably have the better offensive line in this situation.
Tristan Wirfs hasn't had a lot. Tristan Wirfs hasn't allowed a sack in over a year.
Yeah, over.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
That's wild, man.
It's amazing, you know, and all we need is one more like that on the other side.
There you go.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, you can go. He's that. So, we're going to go with the defensive side of the ball. The Eagles play a 4-3. Basically, your standard defense in the NFL. A few teams run the 3-4. 4-3, you're going to get, you know, your 4 linemen, 3 linebacker looks. They don't play a lot of dime, though, which is surprising. You might see them come out with something like that against the BUCS because the BUCS just pick you apart in the air. But right now they have left defensive end, Josh Sweat, Javon Hargrave at your D tackle, Fletcher Cox, who's a sound professional defensive tackle. Derek Barnett is questionable this week. But, again, you're putting them against the likes of Golson, Sue, Vea, and Golson, Sue, and Vea.
You have to throw the linebackers in there too, because they one of them are coming every play.
Every play, right?
Devin White flies through the hole. I see him just fly. He'll sit there and wait. I see him fly through there, full speed.
You can't. It's hard for me to go against the BUCS here, but. You got Hargrave, who leads their team with 6.5 sacks. The man's getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
He's going to be going against the likes of an unknown monster named Donovan Smith.
Yeah.
Kind of has me worried. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, 6.5 sacks in 6 weeks or in 5 weeks is pretty sound production from the defensive tackle position. Defensive tackle. I didn't say defensive end. I said defensive tackle. That's crazy to me.
That's crazy.
But once again, it's hard to go against the likes of Vita Vey and a guy, whatever, Big Girl Sue. I can never say his name. And Golson is quietly having a phenomenal year. Mm-hmm. He's playing the run well. He's keeping the backers free to run and do what they need to do.
Yeah,
so,
he's playing well.
So
you got the BUCS on that?
I do, and I feel like such a homer. I mean, am I wrong? I mean,
well, I think that's one of the strengths of our team is that defensive line. You know, that defensive line is strong. You know, and they're probably number one in the league in shutting down the run, and
we just got to finish.
They get after you. So I would say them too as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They got to finish on the quarterback. They've had so many hits on the quarterback, and we're just not finishing. They're just not getting there. So if they start finishing, then the league's in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Linebacker. I mean, Vita himself. He just clogs up so much space.
Yeah.
He's just so
he does.
Big guy.
I mean, that's his job. So
yeah.
Best in the league. Guarantee he'll be in a golden jacket.
Yes, he will. He keeps it up.
You ain't lying. So we're going to go 4 linebackers against 3 now here. Alex Singleton leads them from the weak linebacker position with 52 tackles. That's sound statistic right there. Eric Wilson's their middle, and their strong linebacker is Jannard Avery. We have banged up Levante David, Devin White, who really hasn't appeared on the stat sheet as much as he had in the past, JPP, and Shaq Barrett. Shaq had a really good game last week. Mm-hmm. Like to see him duplicate that this week.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what they're going to do with Levante David? I mean, that's a big shoes to fill there. I mean, Kevin Minter's sound against the run, but is he really good enough against the pass to take on the likes of Kelsey and Goddard? I mean, that's where that's a scary situation for me.
It is, and he's definitely a couple of notches down from being like Levante. So it'll be a weak link, and so that's where Ty Light has to come up with a scheme, that may be able to protect him as well. Yeah. But I think this Minter knows the defense well enough to where he can go in and play well and not hurt the team. He may give up a play here or there, but in his position, I don't think he's in a position where he's going to be giving up big plays. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I was the team and Levante's a little banged up, I would sit him this week. Go ahead and sit him. We're 4-1. We're playing well. The offense is starting to roll pretty good. Give these guys some rest because we need them. We need them down the road.
Right. Yeah, I think he'll be back Chicago. I don't see Levante playing this week. I honestly don't see Winfield to play this week. I'd be surprised if Gronk actually plays this week. There's no real need. The season is still a ways ahead of us, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the star potential. You might as well keep them and let your backups get some experience because you're going to need them come the playoffs anyway. You're going to need the backups with game experience. So I'm all for setting them. I don't think Philly's the team we need to worry about it too much anyway. Mm-hmm. But even with Levante out, I'm giving the advantage to the BUCS. It's hard. I mean, it's hard.
It sounds like a homer.
Well, I mean,
this every week.
I mean, if you look at the 4 linebackers, I mean, they're studs.
Yeah,
all 4 of them.
Joe Tryon's no slouch either.
Yeah, they're studs. So, I mean, I would go with them all day long. Now the secondary. I'm automatically going the other side. I don't even know what they have over there.
We went the other way every week since Bunting went down.
Yeah.
And
we're in last place in pass defense, right?
32nd.
Well, look at it this way: if your offense is putting up 40 points a game, 32 points a game, your defense is going to be on the field that many times too. So you're going to see that many more plays. I mean, it only makes sense that they're going to give up more yards if they're seeing more plays. The problem is the yardage that they're giving up is off screen passes, is off wheel passes, is off tunnel screens. It's all the same plays, and it doesn't seem like they're making the adjustments to counter that. And everyone now knows that the quick pass is the kryptonite of the Buccaneers because their defensive linemen, outside linebackers can't get home. I mean, that's just the truth of it all. And honestly, go ahead, Ricky.
I would say some of those plays are just a matter of going in, and if I'm coaching, and we're having problems with that, I'm making a reel of screen passes, making a reel of quick passes. Some of these things that they have not been successful at, and I'm showing them. I'm looking. These are the plays that we need to get better at, and these are the angles that you guys need to take so that we're, have proper pursuit angles in order to stop the plays. You understand? So they got to coach them up, and these guys have to, know where their lanes are. That the guys that are outside in have to come outside in. Guys inside out. You just have to do it right, and you have to play with one another, play to your help, rally to the ball.
That the communication's a big issue in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, they're not used to playing with one another. I know you were in the league, so I know you had a situation where you had your safety and you could look at him and he knew what you were thinking. Yeah. And that comes from playing snap after snap after snap after snap together. The Bucs don't have that. Yeah. Especially now you got Winfield, who's in concussion protocol, probably won't play. Whitehead just coming back from injury. You got Mike Edwards, who's switching from your dime nickel to your starting free safety, mm-hmm. And you got Jamal Dean, who just came back from injury, and Richard Sherman on the other side. It's a mass unit, but I think it's going to help them come playoffs.
In playoff time, for sure.
Richard Sherman in that room alone is going to show them, you can watch film. Anyone can watch film, but you have to know what you're looking at. You have to know what you're watching. You have to know how to break down film, break down tendencies, and know exactly, like I said, you've got to know the route tree. If you don't know down and distance in the route tree, how are you supposed to defend that? And it's different in the pros than it is in college, because in college, you were the best athlete on the field. However, in the pros, you're just an athlete on the field.
That's right, because those guys you playing against every week, it's another superstar every week. Right. And you got to be ready to go.
It comes down to technique, and that's where we're lacking right now. So back to what I was talking about. we're going Bucs secondary once again. Your starting lineup as of today is Mike Edwards at your free. Jordan Whitehead at your strong. Corner is going to be Richard Sherman and Jamal Dean.
Cockrell's played well too, though.
Who is that?
Russ Cockrell.
Cockrell.
Yeah, he plays well in the situations that he's in, but he's also a liability when he's out on the edge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's not long enough, I don't think, to play against people like. Not that he's going to face him this year, but like Julio Jones. You can't put Ross Cockrell on Julio Jones because he's not long enough to go with Julio.
No. Now, I don't have a problem with his size, but I think he just his athletic ability is not that great.
Right.
He's slow. He's kind of slow. He doesn't have great burst. Now, the one thing he does have, he's very smart. He's a smart guy, mm-hmm. and he's able to make plays because of it. Yeah. I've watched him and I see him struggling times, running behind the receivers and things like that, because he doesn't have that talent level that year, right? But he's smart. He's smart, and he's able to finish plays just based on being smart and doing the right things.
He does high point the ball very well.
Yeah.
Which isn't something you can really teach. It's all, instinct, I guess. But we're putting our defensive backs up against the likes of Darius Slay, outstanding corner. Mm-hmm. Rodney McLeod, Anthony Harris, and your other corner, Steven Nelson. Now I know you guys like, who are those other players? But guess what? In the other locker room, they're like, who the hell is Mike Edwards? Who the hell is, Ross Cockrell? We don't have the defensive backs that put fear anymore. Richard Sherman looks stiff to me. He honestly does. He doesn't have that burst on his plant and go. He's stiff. He looks long, and he looks tall in his drops. That's just my opinion. I'm not a coach or anything.
He looks old, huh? He looks old.
The white tights don't help him look young either. But I'm going to call this a push, in my opinion. I don't think either team really has the advantage in the secondary.
You gave one to the BUCS on that one, huh?
I mean,
gave him a push.
I mean, it's.
I understand. I understand.
I got you. We'll go advantage Eagles. I changed my mind. I was feeling like a homer.
You got to give the Eagles something.
Eagles will have secondary. We'll give them a slight advantage.
Yeah, it's not a glaring advantage, but it's definitely an advantage.
Yeah.
But again, with those corners, though, we have the receivers that are going to beat those corners. There's no way they're going to be able to contain.
We said that before.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give those guys their respect. They're out there. I'm sure they can play. Right. So just a matter of learning what the BUCS do and staying on top of it. But I mean, yeah, I definitely see our guys doing well.
So then we're going to go to the player that's on the team but not really on the team. We got the kicker. You got Jake Elliott for the Eagles and Ryan Suckup for the BUCS. Suckup's playing pretty well. He's missed, I think, 2 kicks this year, if I'm not mistaken. Might just be 1, but he's playing pretty well. But Elliott is, I mean, he's kicking well too.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to say push. I don't think either special teams has a real advantage as a kicker. Where BUCS actually get the big advantage in my eyes is Bradley Pinion. He flips the field better than any kicker in the league right now.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's got the art of the coffin corner, which is something you don't see much. That's back when you played. That's what they taught when you played, was the coffin corner punt. I don't even think he knows what that is. He just thinks it's a
no. Listen. No, back in like Madden 2005. I never played football. I never did anything of that stuff. But Madden 2005, there used to be a drill called coffin, or what's it called? Coffin corner punt. And it'll have like certain, like if you get the very corner, you get 5 points. That's something I know about that.
It's definitely a dying art, but he's got it. He pins them usually within the 10. If you got him on the 35-yard line, he's putting them at the 10 or less, and it's hard to start a drive there. It really is.
Yeah.
But so once again, I feel like a homer where I feel the BUCS having the major advantage. Keith, final score prediction.
Oh boy, I have not been right for any of the score predictions this year. Ever. Either I'm way off, but I mean, I don't want to be a homer, of course, but they'll score 40, I believe. Again, well, they almost scored 40 on Sunday. They could have scored 40, but they need the ball. 40. Did they score 40? No. 45. Oh, they did score 40. See, I don't know where I'm at right now. Okay. Well, they'll score like 41-17, 41-24.
Yeah, it's one of those odd-numbered scores again, Keith. Ricky, where are you leaning here, sir?
Well, I'm definitely gonna say BUCS winning, but not as high as scoring. Probably I'm gonna say 31-24 Buccaneers.
There you go.
Wow, a 7-point game.
7-point game.
Well, I really think the Jalen Hurts is going to give the BUCS a lot of trouble with his scrambling ability, being able to roll out of the pocket and pass. With Levante David being out, you might see Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz have huge games. I'm thinking 42-17 Eagles. I'm just joking. 32-24. Still a one-score game, but I think the BUCS got it. I like I said at the beginning of the year, I think the BUCS averaged 32 points a game by the end of the year, and I'm going to stick with that. So
that's pretty much the same score I said.
Pretty close, right? So, Ricky, I appreciate you coming on tonight. It was great talking with you. You're a blast to have on. You're welcome here anytime.
Okay, well, Thank you, guys. I had a good time. I
Where can
really
people find
appreciate
you?
the invite.
Well, thank you. Where can they find you? You on social media other than Facebook or?
Yeah, I did. I just started up a little Instagram, so
All right.
I'm on there now. So yeah.
Are you still with Fox? Is that who you're with, Fox News?
I'm not with Fox. With the COVID stuff going on, they didn't have us come in last year, and then again this year. So I'm not with Fox this year.
Right on.
Ironically, that's where I know him from. Is actually from Fox. When I lived down in Florida, I remember with O'Donnell. Is that his name? O'Donnell.
Yeah, Kevin O'Donnell's there.
Scott
Scott Smith is the anchorman.
Yes.
And then yeah.
Yeah, Kevin O'Donnell. Yep.
Well, Ricky, you're always welcome to come on. I'd love to have you on again. Love your insight. I appreciate you coming by, and thank you for your time with the BUCS.
All right, no problem. Thanks.
New England. But
all right, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Good night.
All right, you have a good night.
All right. That was pretty cool.
yeah, it was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
So unfortunately, we're going to end this episode on a pretty down note. NSPN lost a great man this week at a very young age. Alex Fleming is no longer with us, unfortunately. He lost his life this week, and it's definitely a sad day for NSPN. We always talked on Facebook. He and I, we would talk BUCS, we would talk football, we would talk race relations. He was open to talk anything, and he always had some insight. Always willing to listen to my thoughts and my ideas. Would never really pass too stern a judgment, but just want to say, Alex, you will be missed, and I want to wish his family well, and God bless them as well. So, we're going to end the show on that note. Keith, we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you for coming on. I'm working on guests for next Tuesday as well. So, have a blessed night, and we'll see you later. Go BUCS.
Go BUCS.